Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 5 where we're back on the Honda XL 250R 1982 restoration. So I just wanted to give you a quick update where we are with this bike. I've just picked it up from the auto electricians. He's done an absolute fantastic job. So I'll just show you some of the work that he's done. So he's basically rewired every single connector to the bike. I had to go out and source one of these, which is like a wire connection box. Again, a lot of these bits have come from overseas. I think this was from the USA. I think I paid about £60 for that, but that's original. I've had to buy a battery as well to put on the bike. But if we just turn the bike on, the one thing I do need to get is a neutral switch, but as you can see, we'll get the indicators going, they're all working, and with the new wiring it's so thin as well, it just absolutely blends into the bike. All these new connectors have been put on, the whole thing's been refreshed, renewed. So obviously the indicators don't go there. We still need to get the plastics done on the bike. I've still got the tank sat there that needs to be painted up, and we'll just listen to the horn. Not sure if it sounded like that in 1982, but it works. So up till now we've got the things like the plastics to do. We've stripped them all back as we've done earlier, and we're going to now prep them and get these bits ready for painting. Right, okay, so we've got the tank here. We've been prepping this, getting this ready for painting. You can see we've had to kind of refill where we've got the pings that have been in the tank. Gave it a wet and dry sanding and kind of got it back to original sort of bare metal. So we're going to give it a couple of mist coats of the primer and get it ready for finishing. So after the tack coat's done, we're ready to put the first full coat of primer on. So now we've wet and dried the plastics, we've got to put the adhesive primer on. This is the adhesive plastic promoter. So we've got the rear fender here, we've put some primer on it, we've got some cracks in there as well. What we've done is we've put the Dremel on there just to make it a little bit deeper, and then we're going to use a plastic weld to fill those and just sand them off. So over at the workbench, we've just stapled the seat cover on. I've been using one of these electric staple guns, really good. I'll just show you what I've done here. So we've literally pulled the back and the front together and then pulled in the sides and literally just re-stapled the whole thing back to secure that. So that's pulled up nice and tight and it's come out really good. Like I said, you can buy these seat covers for about £45. There's a little bit still need to do to this bike, but we are getting there. I've got the carburetor at home. I'm just going to go and check that out now. Okay, so I've got the carburetor here. It's off the bike. We've blast cleaned the outside of it. Now it's time to have a look, see what's on the inside. I'm going to work through a few bits. I've got some carb cleaner and a few little bits like the toothbrush. I'm going to start cleaning it up and see what it looks like on the inside. I've got some of these little wires that you can pass through the jets and some little sort of pipe cleaners there. A set of screwdrivers, some calipers to measure the flow, and I've got one of these service kits, and this is a genuine Honda one as well. They're quite expensive, these are, for what they are. Pretty much know it's going to fit, it's the correct part. First looks, that don't look too bad, but like I said, we'll get the carb cleaner in there, give it a good clean out. I mean, if I hold that upside down, it looks like the float is moving quite freely, but we'll take that out. We'll just knock this little pin out. Float, I mean, to be honest, that looks in pretty good shape. It's kind of going to want cleaning up. So we've just taken the pump cover off, and I've got to say there's lots of sort of sludge in there. We've got this diaphragm with a rod. I mean, you can see on there how bad that is. That is proper gunked up. I mean, look at that. It kind of makes me wonder how these things still run. And you can see what's just come out of the bottom of that pump cover there. It's a proper mess, that is, but we'll get that all cleaned up in a minute. So I've just put some compressed air through the carburetor. Everything seems to be working okay. Nothing seems to be blocked. So I've just come outside to put some fuel in the bottom of this bowl, and just to test if it leaks and anything like that. So as I filled it up, nothing's come out. That just shows you that it is releasing a little bit of fuel into the chamber, as it should do. So that's the carburetor finished. I've cleaned everything out I could possibly do. I've never done a carburetor before, and it seemed pretty straightforward once I started taking things apart. I've cleaned everything out that I could possibly do, changed the O-rings, the gaskets, and put everything back to how the way I kind of found it with the needle settings and everything. There was definitely some dirt in there that kind of wanted cleaning out with the carb spray, but the carb cleaner's done the job. And it looks in pretty good nick, so we'll find out when it's back on the bike whether it works or not. So all the things have been hard to get. I've managed to pick up these rear passenger pegs. They came as a set, they were damaged. I've managed to strip them back, blast clean them. These are the original rubbers, they've cleaned up nice. This one was bent, so I've had to straighten that one. I've resprayed them and they'll look great on the bike as well. Another part that I was really struggling to get, but thanks to my cousin and a good buddy of mine, I've managed to borrow a bit of his bike, and he's gone and got it 3D printed and then put into the original material, which was nylon. So this is a chain slipper guide. And like I said, you can't get them, so that was plastic 3D made, and then we've had it reproduced into the original material, which was like a nylon. So as you can see, it's not an easy shape to replicate, but with today's technology, he has done an absolute fantastic job of making that precise part for the bike. So the chain slipper guide just sits right in there. It's a bit that gets tucked away, and there is some aftermarket parts like rollers you can buy, but like I said, it was all about trying to make the bike as original as possible. I've still got the original exhaust to do as well. What happened was the baffle had collapsed inside as well, so I basically had the top chopped off it. Removed the baffle and then welded back up. It might sound a little bit more throaty, but I don't think it's going to make a massive difference. But it was all about saving the exhaust. You can't get these bits anymore, they are super rare. So we'll get that painted up, get that put on the bike as well. What I've still got to do with this bike, I've got to get it road registered. There's been a bit of a process. I've tried to do it whilst I was doing the rebuild, and it got rejected for a few reasons. A, it needed to be on the Nova system, which it wasn't. Luckily, they've not charged me for putting it on the Nova system. You can MOT apparently a bike without a registration. That is like a gold certificate for when I send the paperwork off to get the bike registered. So one thing I've got to do, we've still got the old engine oil in there. 15 years we know it's been sat for. It could be possibly longer. So we're going to give that a drain and we'll put some new stuff in. So I'm a bit reluctant to take the engine casing apart to take the screen out to clear that, because these bikes do not have an oil filter. But looking at the drain plug, that looks okay. We've also got the spark plug there. We're going to take that out, take a look, and replace that with a new one. So there's the old plug, looking pretty black, pretty dirty. If you compare it to the new one, they look completely different. Okay, so it's time to fit the carburetor back to the bike. So after messing around with the carburetor for a few hours, we seem to have a problem with it. It's chucking out fuel at the accelerator pump at the bottom. So I'm going to seek advice on this and head to my local garage, see if I can get them to sort this out. And hopefully in part 6 we can get this bike fired up. So thanks for watching. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Give us a like and I'll see you in the next one.